My coolant hose are not cut, cracked, or dry rotted, or bulging with hose clamps tight, free of coolant leaks at the seams. My gear-driven air compressor, securely mounted to the engine block, no loose or missing bolts, free of audible air leaks. My heart lines and fittings are not cracked or broken, also free of audible air leaks. Right below this, I got my gear-driven power steering pump, securely mounted to my engine block, no loose or missing nuts and bolts, free of power steering fluid leaks at the seams. My power steering hoses aren't cut, cracked, or dry rotted or bulging, with fittings and clamps tight. My power steering reservoir cap is tight, filled to the proper levels, free of leaks at the seams. Engine oil cap tight. My dipstick, I want to check the oil levels. Make sure I'm above the add line. If I'm below, I'm going to add 1 gallon of oil. My steering shaft is straight, not cracked or bent, with U-joints properly greased, no loose or missing nuts and bolts. My power steering gearbox securely fastened to the frame, with no loose or missing nuts and bolts, free of power steering fluid leaks at the seams. Takes me to my steering linkage. This is my pitman arm, this is my drag link, and this is my steering knuckle. Not cracked or bent other than factory, with castle nut and cotter keys in place, with bushings properly greased, not dry rotted or missing. My tie rod, which is that bar that runs across to the other tire, is straight, not cracked or bent, and free of debris. My shock absorber, securely mounted, no loose or missing nuts and bolts. Bushing is not dry rotted or missing. This is oil filled, so I want to make sure it's not leaking at the seams. My leaf spring hangers, securely mounted to the frame, no loose or missing nuts and bolts. Bushings, not dry rotted or missing. My leaf springs, not cracked, shifted, or missing. Securely fastened with 2 U-bolts with no missing nuts underneath. I'm going to inspect the suspension for any shininess and the U-bolt saddle, which would indicate a loose suspension. My air brake chamber hose, not cut, cracked, dry rotted or bulging, with fittings tight, free of audible air leaks. My ABS wire, not cut, cracked, or burnt, no rubbing and chafing that could expose the wire. My brake chamber and C-clamp, not cracked or broken, free of audible air leaks, with no loose or missing nuts and bolts. My push rod and slack adjuster has a pin and cotter key in place, no more than 1 inch of free play or past 90 degrees when brakes are depressed. In order to check that, I would need an assistant, but these are self-adjusting slack adjusters. Inner hub seal, free of oil leaks. My brake pads, not cracked, no cracked or missing pads, free of oil and grease, no less than 1/4 of an inch, which is considered dangerously thin. My brake drum, not cracked, no dents, no legal weld repairs, securely fastened, no loose or missing bolts, or any heat distortion. My rim and bead flange, not cracked, dented, no legal weld repairs. My tire sidewall, inside and outside, no abrasions, bubbles, or cuts. My tire tread, wearing evenly. Uneven wear would be an indication of a suspension or alignment issue. No foreign objects in the grooves that could puncture or damage. No less than 4/32 of an inch of tread depth. These cannot be recaps. My valve stem and cap, centered, properly inflated to 95 to 98 psi. Outside rim and bead flange, no cracks, no dents, no legal weld repairs. Lug nuts and spacers, not cracked or missing. No rust trails or shiny threads, which would indicate a loose lug. No cracking or distortion of the lug nut bolt holes. My hub seal, no loose or missing bolts, free of oil leaks at the seams, filled to the proper level. Splash guard, not cracked or missing, securely mounted.